So there's times where I'm building a beat and it's just not working. I'm trying to force the sample to work. Let's say it sounds really good. Now that happened to me. I have a really cool record. I'll actually show it to you right here. This record right here. There's a really, really good song that I've tried so many times to make it work. I'm forcing it, and there's just some samples that I'm just like, you know what? It's just not met, at least for me, it just does not work. So one of the questions that I get asked the most is, how do I find my samples, or how do I find a sample that works? Now that's going to be different for everybody, because everybody has a different ear, everybody has a different way of interpreting music, and that's what makes this art unique and very exciting. Now there's two different ways that I'll search for samples. One way is going out to a record store and picking up actual records, like vinyl records, which is going to be my favorite way because I just have fun coming home with a stack full of records and just popping them in and just seeing what I come up with. That does cost money, it does take time, and a lot of us do not have a record store nearby. Well, an alternative to that, and another way you could go through and search for samples, is going online. Now, the only problem with YouTube or different sources online is that the quality of your sample might just sound very compressed, very dirty and nasty. It's just, we don't know how they're being uploaded. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you my personal favorite source for online sampling, and I like to use Tracklib. Now, if you have not heard of Tracklib, it is an awesome website where you just have thousands of records to sample from. And now the really cool thing about Tracklib is that if you're someone that's scared that I might get a copyright or they might sue me for using a sample in my record, Tracklib will take care of all that for you. You only have to pay $50 if you want to clear a sample, depending on what class that sample is in. You pay $50 and they will clear it for you, and you can sell the beat, you can release it. Now, this video is not sponsored by Tracklib. I don't have any affiliation with them. There's no affiliate links down in the bottom. I will leave a link to Tracklib, but there's no code or any type of discount that I could offer. It's just a website that I enjoy using, so I want to share with you and show you how I use this. Now, going through and covering all the legal side of Tracklib and how safe it is for you to release your music, in that topic, I do want to say thank you to today's sponsor, DistroKid. When it comes down to releasing your music to different streaming platforms as iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Tilder, Amazon Music, and many more, I use DistroKid. It is by far the most user-friendly, and not only that, but they offer so many tools for creators to reach out and engage with their audience. The really cool thing about DistroKid is that you do not have to be on a computer to look at your stats or to even upload music. You could download the application, and it's available for Apple devices and also for Android phones. Simply download the application to your phone, and within that application, you have so many special features you could do without having to be on a computer. You could upload new releases, get notified when you've earned royalties or the withdrawals on the application. You could also view and share hyperfollow links, which are awesome to engage with your audience. And one of my favorites is being able to see your stats from Apple and Spotify, which keep you connected with what people are engaging with the most. Now, there's many more key features you could do from the application, which saves you some time having to log on to a computer. DistroKid is the easiest and the fastest way to share your music with all different streaming platforms. So if you are not signed up with DistroKid, make sure you use the link down in the description of this video for a 7% discount of your first year's membership. So usually when I search for records that I want to sample, I'll have my MPC popped open and I will have a very basic drum loop. Like right here, I have an empty session right here on my, or an empty project on my MPC. Simple drums, nothing too crazy. When you find the right sample, this simple drum loop will come together so good. Now let's jump into Tracklib and show you how I use it, some of the cool tools that they have. So right here we have Tracklib, and it's built exactly the way I would want it to be. When I walk into a record store, I usually ask, where is the international section? Because I like to listen to music from different regions around the world. You go right here to genres. There's rock, blues, children music, country, holiday, R&B, and soul, reggae. Let's say you want to jump into the soul section, and right here they also have the subgenres, the key of the song, the track type, BPM, the year it was released. So if you're someone that enjoys the 70s, you can filter this down and put this all for 70s. Go ahead and listen to a few of these. Wake up. There's so many different ways to search for music, and it makes it very easy. You could go through regions, so Eastern African, Eastern Europe, Middle East, North America. Now, this is the way I would want to go into a record store and just search for music. Now, the one thing to keep in mind that if you are not a member of Tracklib, you will listen to the music. You could still use all these features, but it would be a very compressed file. So when you're listening to this, you're like, oh, this is really cool, but it sounds very compressed and it's not something that I would want to sample. That's what happened to me. But once you subscribe to them and you download one of the records that you want to sample from, it will download a WAV file. So it's a very high quality WAV file, which this is why I like Tracklib, because in YouTube, they sound very compressed and sometimes I cannot use those files. But right here, they'll give you a clean WAV file that you could bring into your MPC and get working with. Okay, I already like the tone of this, the key that is in. It's a very minor or dark sounding record. You will see down here, you have a few different options. You can pitch this and just get an idea of how this is going to sound if you pitch it down -2 semitones. You guys that follow me already know that I will pitch this down -2 semitones. So you can already get a reference of how it's going to sound before you even invest time in trying to figure it out within your MPC. You also have loops. You could select or have this select a 2-bar, 1-bar, 4-bar, 8-bar loop for you to just kind of, again, us beat makers want to select different loops to put in our sequencer. Let's say I want to do a 2-bar loop. Yo, that's so cool. I'm already liking how that sounds. I already brought it down -2 semitones, did a 2-bar loop, and then to even add a little more sauce on top, they have a beat. So right here, this section is, they will throw a quick reference. They could do a classic boom bap beat on top of this, a trap essential, lo-fi, a simple rock or early house beat. They'll just throw some drums on top of this to give you an idea of how this will sound once you put your drums to this record. So say for us, we want to go for a classic boom bap, and you engage that, put a 2-bar loop, and let's see how this sounds with some drums on top of it. All right, so that sounds so cool. Now, it just threw some basic drums, but obviously I have some drums that I will add myself, but I already know this sounds good. Again, I'm not wasting my time. It's a quick reference that it gives us just so we can listen to. Now, the dangerous part right here, now I'll just keep it real with you, is that there's times where this will create a much better beat than when you bring it into your MPC. I'm like, yo, it doesn't sound the way it sounded over here. So just keep that in mind and do not feel discouraged if this reference sounds better than your beat. And now right next to that, they have, you can heart this. So I actually like how this sounds, and I'm making this video right now. I didn't know this was going to sound this good. I'm going to come back to this beat later on and really focus on it. And now say you like this, you can go ahead and download it. If I hit download, it's only going to download these 2 bars. If you want to listen or you want to download the entire record, just turn off loop and hit download, and it will download the entire record. Once I hit download, it will download a WAV file, which sounds much better than this reference that is given me. Now, if I open up that download, I have it right here, and we can actually listen to it together right here.
Live in the soul world.
Only those 2 bars it downloaded, and it gave it to you in the normal original pitch. Once I bring it into the MPC, right here is where I'm going to pitch it down -2 semitones to make it sound the way I heard it right here that I was referencing these settings. Now, I went ahead and sampled that in here, and I have that sampled pitched down -2 semitones.
Live in the soul world. Live in.
Now, remember the drums that I had that I showed to you in the beginning. I'm going to hit the solo button. I'm going to take this off of solo. Let's listen to how this sounds with the drums that I originally had. I mean, I don't know. It might work. It might not work. But let's just see how it sounds.
Live in the soul world. Live in the soul world.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. I love how this sounds, and I'm resonating with this, connecting with this. I did not waste time in trying to make sure if it works, because I'm telling you right now, there's so many times that could be very discouraging when you think a sample is going to work, but when you bring it in right here, it just does not work. Now, I could keep going. There's other sections that I want to dig up for. I go back to Tracklib, and I keep looping different sections of the same record, and I'll download that, bring it into my MPC, and continue to build the track with it. All right, now let's just say you do not want to release any of these tracks. You don't want to pay $50 to clear one of the records. That's fine. You don't have to. I've actually released lots of music without clearing it, and I get this question asked so many times. What's the best way to clear your music? Do you clear your music? I don't clear my music. Professionally is probably the right thing to do, but I will release my music. The tracks that you hear right here in YouTube, none of those are cleared. They're just records that I share with my community. None of these beats, I don't sell any of my beats, but I still put them out in streaming platforms. Now, I myself am not a big artist where I will show you my streaming of the year, and there's millions of streams, and I'm making thousands of dollars off of these samples. I'm really not hitting the thousands or the millions when it comes down to my streams of uploads, but they're just records that I enjoy chopping up and just putting out with my community and sharing them. But if you're someone that wants to take it to the next level and sell your beats or connect with an artist, and let's just say this track actually blows up, the $50 is nothing to clear out one of the records. And now, if you're that person that just wants to be safe with everything, go ahead and clear out your records right here. Put out an EP and share it. Put it out through DistroKid. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and just stop talking about this. But as you can see, this topic excites me because it's one of my favorite processes. And I say this so many times in so many of my videos that listening to music is something that I enjoy. I actually have a record player back there that I sometimes just play, and I will just do daily chores, but I'll listen to different records because I enjoy just listening to music. Now, the records that I purchase that just do not work for me, and I'm like, yo, these are not going to be records that I'm going to sample. What do I do with these records? This is actually a question I just got asked, which was an awesome question. I think that question inspired this video. But the records that I keep, and I always go back to it, and it's not even about trying to make beats off of these records. Sometimes you'll be exposed to great sounding music that I'll just listen to, and I'll just have a good time with my family, and we just will have dinner or just hang out and just listen to music and set a certain atmosphere as we just have a good time as a family. Now, that's personal, and that's just me. Not everybody has kids, or everybody may have a different meaning or a connection to why they will purchase records or why they enjoy listening to music. But that's something that hits home for me. Again, I don't want to bore you guys with my personal life, but thank you so much for coming on to this video. If you enjoyed any of this right here, make sure you guys go down to the link of this bio, subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and also I'll have a link to Tracklib if you guys want to check them out. You do not even have to subscribe to Tracklib. You could go ahead and listen to music and start sampling, but just keep in mind you're going to be sampling the low quality compressed files, but their monthly rates are really cheap, so I would highly recommend you guys check them out. All right, guys, I will end the video right here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch y'all on our next video. Peace.